This question is from Cynthia. Cynthia says, from your training for doing a webinar, I need guidance. I will be doing the YouTube Live and I need to set up a registration page and reminders. Where are these located? Do I have them sign up to my emails and then send reminders from there? Or is there something in YouTube itself? I could use guidance on setting this up.
Okay, so how Cynthia is talking about doing webinars here is doing a YouTube Live and driving traffic to the YouTube Live page. You can also do what I do with this member call. Like right now, you're in a post. I've embedded the YouTube video and the chat in that post, right? So how I do webinars is we do a YouTube Live or a Hangout, whatever they call it these days, events, all right? We schedule it. We take that, we embed it on a page. It's like flippedlifestyle.com/webinars or something like that. And then what happens is that page now hosts the webinar. So then what I do is I create an opt-in box using Infusionsoft and using WordPress, because that's what we do now.
But you can do it on other email providers.
You can do it on for sure. You just need an opt-in box that puts them on a specific list, a very specific list for webinars and for the webinar they're signing up for. And once they opt in, I've got the dates set in the email list, and it just triggers, and I write my emails in Infusionsoft. You can also go get Webinar Jam or Webinar Ninja, or there's lots of software that does this for you. But we had trouble with some of it, and we just didn't feel like fighting with it, and so we kind of create our own system where we're more in control of the content. But you can totally just sign up for Webinar Ninja or Webinar Jam or any other GoToWebinar. Any of these programs will do all the reminders for you. All you do is set the date.
So basically, there are two different ways to do this. So you can do it the way that you're talking about, which is where you use your email service provider to set up all the emails and to send them out the reminders and all that. The good thing about it is that it is not as costly. However, the bad thing about it is that it's a lot more manual. So basically, that means that you have to go in and manually set up all the emails and get people on that list and all that kind of stuff. All right. And then you'll have to find the links yourself and put them in the emails and blah, blah, blah. The other way to do it is, like Shane's saying, to pay for one of the services like Webinar Jam, Webinar Ninja, whatever. There's a bunch of them. And, it does all the work for you, meaning that, people sign up on the platform, their emails are captured in that platform, and that most of the time they will also go to your email service provider.
You can integrate like Webinar Jam with ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, Infusionsoft.
Yeah, whatever. Usually they will integrate. So if you're going to go that route, you need to find one that integrates with whatever email service provider you're using. And it does a lot of the work for you, meaning that you go in and set up all the reminder emails one time. And as long as they're not super specific, you can use them over again for future webinars. And so that is a lot less manual work. However, it is more expensive. Most of them are going to be about $500 to $600 for a year subscription. So, if you're at that place in your business and you choose to do it that way, that's cool.
It's an investment.
If you don't,
you're going to make the money.
It's okay.
Yeah. But it's like we do it our way because for one thing, we teach this, right? And a lot of people come in and they're like, well, I don't want to pay for Webinar Jam. Or I'm like, well, how could you do a webinar without Webinar Jam? And so I created a system where I have an opt-in box. It puts them on a list. They get reminders for the webinar. It's manual. We have to go in and check the dates, but I can teach that system to anybody. It's literally embed a YouTube video, embed a chat box, go in and set up some email reminders.
Well, and for us, we have people who can go in and do those things for us.
Like someone else does this member call for us. Like they actually set up the event, put the video in.
We just show up and hit play.
Exactly. So there's lots of different variables. No system is perfect, but if you're having trouble getting it set up, then something like Webinar Jam is probably what you need to look at, because it's literally paint by numbers, follow the steps, and you can have a webinar. Okay. But in general, here's how a webinar works. You're on video. Send them an email to remind them what page on your website that video exists on. That's it. It's like, I'm having a webinar on Sunday at 9:00. I put a video on a page. I send you an email that says, go to this link at 9:00. That's it. That's what a webinar is.
Okay. And so you can even do it super manually. Like if you are just starting out, you don't want to pay for anything right now. Just
and it's YouTube Live.
Capture people's names on your list and an hour before the event, send them an email with a link. I mean,
Totally
that will
manual.
work. Okay.
Totally manual. You could do it totally
That will
manually.
work. It doesn't, just because you can have reminders 48 hours before and 24 hours before and 12 hours before and 6 hours before. You don't have to do that. Like, don't make it harder than it is. I was going to say also, there is it's like a service. It's called Add Event, I believe, like ADD event. And that will allow you to get a link, or you can even put it on a button on your site to let people add things to their
To
calendar.
their own calendar.
So if you look at the top of the member area in our website, it says click here to add to your calendar. And there's a little link there. So for the next member call, if you want to make sure that you are on it, you can do that. And I think it's in the email as well.
Yeah. And that's super simple. It would be like opt in, send them to a thank you page. The thank you page has a button that has the date of your event. 20 minutes before your webinar, shoot an email to everybody and say, hey guys, I'm going live in 20 minutes. That's it. And listen, for those of you who are really overwhelmed, like if you have a YouTube channel, which is you do if you have a Gmail account, just go to YouTube. But like just set up an event. You just click host event, pick the date, there it is. It's over. And then just send them to your YouTube page. Do the webinar there. The most important thing is that you get in front of someone and sell your product. All this other nonsense is just bells and whistles, right? ClickFunnels does their webinars on Zoom. They just email out a Zoom link, you click it and you join the Zoom. Like it's very uncomplicated. So
yeah, and I think there's kind of a theme for this call. Like there's no right or wrong ways to do anything. And I think a lot of times you guys do the same thing that we do. You're making it too hard. Like don't make it so hard. If all you do is create a link and send it to people who are interested, you're doing more than 90% of people are doing. Like don't beat yourself up so much.
I've got a buddy that only does his webinars on Facebook Live because he has a massive Facebook audience, like massive Facebook audience. So like he just, whenever he wants to do a webinar, he just sets up an event on his Facebook page and he just shows up and talks to them and drops a link in the first comment. I mean, it's like how can you get people to listen to you and then click a link? And then how can you remind them to show up? Like that's the only questions you have to ask yourself when you're doing a webinar. So don't make it look perfect. Don't make it look like anybody else. How can you accomplish those goals? Go do that.
And ask yourself this week, what am I making too hard and how can I stop? I have to ask myself that a lot.
We do it too, guys. Don't think you're the only one. Like we'll draw up these super hyper complicated things, and then we're like, man, if we had just emailed them to a YouTube page, that would have been a whole lot easier. And we're like, yeah, that probably would have worked.
Well, and a lot of times it's a stumbling block. You feel like if you don't know the right answer, and there's not a right answer, but you feel like if you can't come up with the exact thing that ABC person did to make $8 billion, then you're not doing it right. Well, that's not true.
It's also
just
fear.
Do something.
I think some people are like scared to do the webinars, and like so they just keep finding ways to make them more complicated, so they can almost get mired into the.
Oh, I couldn't figure out the tech.
Man, I tried. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to do my webinar, but just can't figure it out. Like, no, just literally, you could go live on Facebook and do a webinar like anytime you wanted to. So, let's try to all uncomplicate our businesses this week. Thank you for watching that Q&A with S&J. We are Shane and Jocelyn Sams of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast and flippedlifestyle.com. We have answered thousands of questions for our members inside of the Flip Your Life community, and we post the answers to those questions right here on YouTube.
If you like this video, hit that like button. If you have further questions about this topic, you can comment below, or you can also subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will know when we post more questions.
And if you would like more help starting, building, or growing your own online business, we have a free gift to help you get started. Go to flippedlifestyle.com/free and you can get that free gift today. And until next time, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to flip your life.
Bye.